Hello everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today is for those of you I am calling out that eat 1200 calories to see fat loss. If you're currently eating 1200 calories and you're wondering why you keep binge eating, why the food noise is super high in your head, why you're not seeing results and feeling like absolute crap every single day, this one is for you ladies, okay? 1200 calories is not enough to feed a child, a toddler, never mind a grown woman. Okay, that's the main thing you need to take away from this. Like, you are in your 30s, 40s, potentially 50s, whatever the situation is, you are grown. You understand, you need to eat in order to feel good. Food is fuel. You will feed your child consistently 3 times a day, good, nutritious meals. But yet, when it comes to yourself, you're absolutely starving yourself in order to see results. And what that's doing is it's ruining your relationship with food. It's ruining your body, and you're putting your body under so much stress that fat loss you're wanting to see from absolutely starving yourself, you're not going to see anyway. You have to be extremely small and petite to eat 1200 calories, or to need to eat 1200 calories in order to see fat loss, okay? Let's say you're at a healthy weight, you're in a really good place, or you potentially think you're a little bit overweight. You can be eating a lot more than that in order to see results, but it needs to be done properly. 1200 calories is just not sustainable for a grown woman, okay? And yes, you might see results for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months even, and the weight is going to fall off you like that if your body's responding, but the damage that you're doing to your body in the meantime will end up backfiring on you, and the weight is going to come on 10 times as fast. Your relationship with food will be absolutely ruined. You'll be scared to spend time with your family and eat different meals. You'll be scared to enjoy yourself. You'll be scared of foods. You're going to think foods are good and bad, and it's not worth that damage. And more than likely, you're going to lose your cycle, mess up your hormones, and just completely ruin everything when it comes to your health. One thing that I really want to speak about in this particular video is what eating 1200 calories actually does, okay? Or how our body works when it comes to calories. So calories is energy. Energy is fuel, okay? That's the way you want to look at everything. Calories are just energy in order to fuel your body to do whatever. On a day-to-day basis, without doing any exercise, without doing anything, your body is still burning calories, okay? So see the way I'm moving my hands right now? My body's burning calories. I'm blinking, my body's burning calories. I'm talking, my body's burning calories. It is burning calories during every single thing that you do. And it's burning those calories off that I'm consuming, which I'm consuming a decent amount of calories, okay? So my body acts fast, I don't have brain fog, I feel good, I have plenty of energy to be swinging my arms around, is essentially what I'm saying. When you eat 1200 calories for a prolonged period of time, your body is super smart. Your body adapts to exactly what you're giving it, okay? So what that means is if you're not giving it enough fuel, your body will adapt to that, which also means it's going to stop responding. That's why you always hear about, oh, I didn't lose any weight because I was under eating and my body was in starvation mode. Starvation mode is not a real thing. What is actually happening is your metabolic rate is just adapting to what you're providing, okay? So how it adapts, the more you fuel, the more you have, the more energy you have in your system, the more you're able to give out, right? So the more you're going to be fidgeting, the more you're going to be moving when you're talking, the more you're going to be blinking, your digestion's going to be good, everything's going to be in a really good place. However, once that energy intake is majorly reduced, what ends up happening is all of those functions slow down. So brain fog is probably the number one thing. You can't concentrate, you can't focus properly, you seem to be reliant on caffeine all the time, you're waking up exhausted, you're not even sleeping properly because carbs are actually super important for improving sleep quality, and you're not consuming enough of that, okay? You're constantly tired, you're constantly fatigued, your body's stressed, which you might not think about because all you're focusing on is fat loss. The other things is all those bodily functions that I just said, fidgeting, blinking, talking, everything that you do on a day-to-day basis, your digestion, how well your body works, how well your body operates, all of that slows down in order to protect your body. That's what starvation mode is, okay? So your body just goes, well, she's not fueling me, she's not giving me any energy, so I'm not going to respond in the same way that I used to. Hence why you end up feeling like absolute crap. And the most dangerous thing that comes with this is when your body doesn't feel safe, you're going to end up losing your cycle. And at 1200 calories, you're more than likely going to lose your cycle if you're actually doing that and sticking to that long term, okay? And yes, a lot of women will be like, oh, amazing, I'm not getting my periods. Like, this is great. I don't have to go through that every single month. No. As a female, our hormonal health is the most important factor for us, okay? And once that is thrown off, that's when we know that something isn't right in our bodies. So essentially, with 1200 calories, your body doesn't feel safe. You're not feeding it enough, okay? You're not looking after it. You're not protecting it. You don't make it feel safe. And our reproductive system is going to be like, well, why would I put her in a position to have a baby when she can't even look after her own body? You know, your body needs fuel. When you're pregnant, why do women eat more? Because they burn off a lot more calories. The baby needs to be fed and everything else. So you're hungry, your cravings are higher, all due to those hormonal changes, right? So when you're essentially putting your body through a lot of stress, when you're not looking after it, when you're not feeding it properly, it will not ovulate. You will not go through the ovulation process because your body's trying to protect you from getting pregnant because it doesn't feel safe. And that should be your first warning sign, okay? If you have lost your cycle because of dieting, it is a huge warning flag that what you're doing is not right and you should not be doing it, okay? Because nothing's happening. You know, fat loss is going to end up plateauing anyway. So you're not going to continue moving forward from that perspective. So all that you're actually doing is just breaking down how well your body's able to adapt to everything. And the issue with that is like, yes, if you do that short term, not the end of the world, you can gain it back. But the more you do that, the more you put your body under that pressure and under that stress, you're going to completely ruin how you come out of that. Which means if you start eating like a normal human being again, the weight is going to come on just like this. It's going to come on 10 times as fast and going to be a lot harder to get off you because your body is going to be holding on to absolutely anything that you're giving it in order to be able to protect itself, okay? So that's the first thing that I do want to say. 1200 calories is not worth messing up your hormones for, losing your cycle for. It is not worth it. The other thing that comes with 1200 calories, it is an immensely small amount of food, which also means that you're probably eating extremely clean, extremely small portions. You're not enjoying your food. You can't add sauces. You can't have any sort of like treats or anything like that throughout the day, at the weekends, anything like that. So it completely ruins your relationship with food. And your relationship with food is going to be one of the most important relationships that you ever have when it comes to yourself, okay? Your relationship with food is so, so important. And it's a much wider picture than just you. And you might just be focusing on yourself, but your relationship with food is going to impact your actual relationships, okay? You're saying no to date nights because it's not going to fit in your 1200 calories, and worse off, even if you go on a date night, that one meal is going to be your whole daily calorie intake, so then you can't eat the rest of the day. So again, you're just completely throwing everything out of the window there. Secondly, it's going to affect your family time. It's going to impact your relationships, your friendships, family, everything else around you, because your family might be looking to get a takeaway on a Saturday night, spend some quality time together, go to some social events, and you're either saying no to these or you're not eating, and that's going to reflect on them as well, okay? Super, super important. If you have children, your children seeing their mum dieting to such extremes is going to wreck their relationship with food as they grow older, especially with young girls. See, if you have younger girls that are just going into like sort of teenage years and they're constantly seeing their mum dieting, you are ruining their relationship with food as well as your own, and you might not even be aware of it, okay? You can imagine if you're growing up in an environment where your mum's always under eating, always dieting, always trying to lose weight and giving off that sort of vibe and giving off that energy, your child is going to grow up with the exact same mentality, because that's all they knew growing up. They think that they have to be the smallest version of themselves. They think that they have to undereat in order to be that version of themselves, and that they have to be unhealthy. That is not something you want to be passing on. There's a much bigger picture than just you focusing on the 1200 calories and sort of doing that for fat loss when you look outside of the box, okay? It impacts other people, it impacts you, your personal life, your relationships, and then you're going to end up binging. Why? Because 1200 calories is just not enough to fuel your body. So come the end of the week, you're going to be absolutely starving. You're going to have been restricting the whole week, and then as soon as you get a taste of that chocolate bar, you're just going to binge out and completely pig out because you feel like you have no self-control or discipline. The issue isn't that you don't have self-control or discipline. The issue is that you keep restricting yourself and putting yourself in that situation to be in that binge restrict cycle, because you keep restricting yourself and you keep constantly having to diet, and then realizing in one weekend you consume 4,000 calories. So what was the point in eating 1,200 calories when you could have just had a higher amount throughout the whole week? You know, make it make sense. And not even with that, eating 1,200 calories is going to impact your energy, your performance in the gym. You actually eating more will cause you to perform better in the gym, which means you're going to be burning off more calories. You're in a position where you can build muscle, etc., which causes your body to burn calories faster. So you will actually lose more by eating more, which people can't wrap their head around. But if your output is higher, your performance is better, you have more muscle mass on you, your body's ability to burn calories is a lot more efficient. Whereas if you're not eating enough, you're not in a position to build muscle, you're actually losing muscle. And when you lose muscle, your metabolic rate slows down, okay? That's why you always see these girls that are into the gym and into fitness, for example, and they're super, super lean and they're eating like 2,500 calories. Why can they do that? It's because they've took the time to actually build the muscle tissue and they've dropped their body fat. And once you have more muscle tissue on you, your body's ability to burn calories is a lot faster. So they're eating 2,500 calories, still maintaining their physique, whereas you might only be able to do that on 1,700, for example. But that just takes time to build up and you have to be patient with the process. But if you keep under eating and under restricting, you're never going to get to that position and your body's always going to feel like it's broken or nothing works for you. But really you're just fighting against it rather than working with your body. And yeah, obviously I work with a lot of women and my expertise is sort of your relationship with food. And I can guarantee you at least 7 out of 10 women that come to me and they have a bad relationship with food have been at one point in their lives or are currently on the 1,200 calorie scandal, okay? And they're following that and wondering why they're constantly binge eating, why they just have no self-control or they don't seem to have discipline, why nothing works for them. And my answer is always the same. It's because you need to eat more. And of course there's going to be fear around that, okay? You're going to be scared to increase your calories because the way we've been raised is to think if we eat more we're going to gain weight, but that is not the case. When you actually look at the logistics, at your body's ability to burn calories, at your recovery, at your training performance, all of those factors like your hormones being in a good place, if your body's working at optimal performance and it's working the best efficiency that it can actually be working at, then you will see results, okay? But when you're taking your body away from all of that and you're just restricting it and putting it under constant stress and under pressure, it's going to fight back and it's not going to give you the results that you want to see. So let's talk about what actually needs to be done, okay? Like I said, no grown woman should be eating 1,200 calories. So what you need to do is calculate your maintenance calories. If you want to see fat loss, you need to calculate your maintenance, okay? And how you figure out what your calorie deficit is calculate your maintenance and basically drop 200 to 300 calories below that. I can do this for you. If you want, you can comment calories under this post and I will get in contact with you and send you a free calorie calculator guide that I've designed that does all the calculations for you based off your activity, based off your lifestyle, based off your age and everything else that has a part to play in it, okay? So I can do this for you and tell you exactly how many calories you need to be eating in order to have fat loss. However, one important aspect to remember here is that if you have been on 1,200 calories for a long time, your metabolic rate will have adapted. So as I said earlier, your body will have adapted to what you were given it, okay? Which also means that you will have to reverse out of that. You can't just jump from 1,200 to 2,000, okay? You can't do that because you will gain body fat. So what needs to be done is those calories need to be gradually built up to teach your body to burn those calories off a little bit faster, which takes time. But this is only the case if you've been dieting for so long that your body is genuinely not responding to anything. And in all reality, like obviously when you think of common sense, right? When in your deficit at 1,800 as an example and you stop losing weight, the next step is drop to 1,700 and you will start losing weight again, okay? So we always have to dig a little bit deeper because our body adjusts, like I said, it adapts to everything. What are you going to do when your body adapts to 1,200 and you're not seeing results? Are you going to drop to 1,000? And if you do, then what then? Are you going to drop to 800? Like, where is the limit? Where's the line drawn at? And the line should be drawn at, I would say, 1,400 for most people. You shouldn't be dipping below that, okay? So that's an important aspect to remember. So if your body is in a position where maybe like the stress is too high on it, there's too much physical, mental stress being put on it, it's not responding, you're being under fuel and your relationship with food is ruined, you need to be building those calories up. So what you actually need to do is go into a reverse diet, which I can talk a little bit more about in a different video. One thing I really want you to take away from this is like 1,200 calories is just not healthy. And it's not that it's not only healthy for you, it's not healthy for what you want your body to do for you, how your body responds. Like if you want to be a successful businesswoman, but you're not eating enough to even have your brain work, and how you're going to be a successful businesswoman? Do you know what I mean? If you want to perform at a high rocks competition but you're not eating enough to even get by through the day, how is your performance going to improve when you're under eating? There's so many other factors that come into play. Do you want your children to grow up with a bad relationship with food? And I know the answer to everybody answering this is going to be no, you don't. So show them a healthy way in order to stay healthy, stay fit and show up as the best version of you and themselves. They are going to pick up on that, okay? And I promise you, you don't have to be eating 1,200 calories in order to do that. But I will not ramble any more on about it. This is my biggest pet peeve in the industry. And look, I know a lot of the time this actually comes from coaches. And I've mentioned about this beforehand. If a coach puts you on 1,200 calories, ask for a refund and run away from them as quickly as you can, okay? Because all they're looking from you is a 6-week transformation. They want your before and afters and you will never hear from them again. And the reason that these like 6-week plans, 8-week plans sell so quickly and the people are always on high demand and the same clients constantly keep returning is because, see, as soon as they come off the the plan, they put the weight all back on because it has been so restrictive and they haven't been able to actually keep it off. So they feel like they need that coach again that's going to get this weight off them in 6 weeks and completely ruin their life. And that's the space of 6 weeks. And they keep repeating that same cycle. You have to overcome that. And like I said, that's a huge warning red flag if a coach is doing this to you, because they don't care about you. They don't care about you as a woman. They don't care about your health. They don't care about what's going on around you, like your family life, your personal life, your job, your success. They don't care about any of that, and your coach should care about that. It's so, so important, okay? So please, please, please remember that, and I hope you took value away from this video as well. If you have any questions, obviously my DMs are always open. If you are stuck in this sort of like restrictive cycle and you just can't come out of it and your body's not responding the way you want it to, my coaching links will also be left below. But other than that, make sure you like this video, comment below what your thoughts are if you have been a victim of this as well, and if you have any further questions you can always reach out. But other than that, I will see you guys next week.